What if I told you that a coupon can have more power than a check? It sounds crazy, right? But the banks already know this, and they are banking on the fact that you don't. Now, today I'm going to break down why a coupon functions as a negotiable instrument under law, contrary to my video from yesterday, and how it ties into debt discharge. I studied consumer law, UCC, and the financial system, and this is the story they don't tell you. Now, before we dive into this video, this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. Please do your due diligence. Number two, if you're brand new, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, like the video. If you do this, this pushes videos like this on the algorithm so that people can be able to see this. Let's get this video to 500 likes. All right. My goal for today is really to break down the coupon even further, because the people that I've been speaking to recently obviously have a lot of questions about the coupons, no matter how many videos I put. And I will keep putting these videos out there because y'all love them. Making multiple different types of videos, really breaking down the coupon. Hopefully I have multiple pieces of material so that one can be able to go to my page, type in remittance, and be able to see all the videos on remittance, okay? And coupons, all right? My goal for today, because I transmuted some of that energy in my last video, talking about 31 CFR 328.5 and 328.6, and really breaking down the aspect of the directions being on there. Okay, so I wanted to make this video so that you guys can be able to come to this and understand the power of the coupon and how to properly use it. Okay, let's dive into the video. Now, I want to talk about the illusion of a check. Okay, and what people don't understand about what checks are. Okay, there are many different methods out there. People do a money order check. People do gold checks or whatever the case may be. But when you just think of just a simple check, all right, understand that when you like write a check to someone, it's the original promise to pay. Okay, when your grandma will pull out her checkbook, you know what I mean? This is before people was like really using credit cards all the time. But checks are just promises to pay, okay, from a deposit account. And when you put that check in, it honestly, I mean, when I used to work at Walmart, they'll put it in a check machine, it'll scan it. I don't even know how they ended up crediting the account. But long story short, it was no like cash in hand that was really given. Okay, it was no card that was swiped. They wrote a check promising to pay X amount of dollars, and when they scanned it, it had monetary value. Okay, and they are really relying on you having the funds in your account. So it's not even like it will automatically say, oh, the funds are there. They scan it and you're promising that it's in the account. If it's not, then the check will bounce. We all know this, okay? But banks condition people to believe that only when money is in the account, it makes something valid. So let's expound upon the fact that a check isn't money. All right? It's just an order to pay from your bank, and it's basically saying, hey bank, move this amount of digits from my account to theirs. Move the digits, okay? That means a check is only valid if you already have the funds on deposit. You're dependent upon what the bank is holding for you, all right? So unless the money is in the account, is what you would think, that check is going to be monetized. But this creates an illusion. It conditions you to believe that you're the debtor who must come up with cash every time. But the reality is, under the UCC, a check is just one form of negotiable instrument. It's not superior. In fact, it's limited because it only works if you already act like the debtor. So when it comes to a check, it's literally like you're choosing to be a debtor. This is why banks want you to use checks and debit cards, because it keeps you stuck in a role of someone who is constantly paying and not discharging. This is why credit is always better than debit. Okay? All debit is just a card form of a check. Okay? So I want to talk about the power of a coupon, but before I do that, I need to I just want to pull up UCC 3-104, which is a negotiable instrument. To expound off of it, we understand that a negotiable instrument means an unconditional promise or order to pay a fixed amount of money. We can scroll down and see check is not an instrument. if at the time it is issued or first comes into possession of the holder, unless it contains a conspicuous statement, however expressed, to the effect that the promise or order is not negotiable or is not an instrument governed by this principle. Okay? So a check is a form of negotiable instrument unless one says it's not. All right? But also at the same time, it is based on conditions that you have money in your account. So technically, it's not really a negotiable instrument. But let's just talk about what it is. A negotiable instrument has to meet this criteria. A unconditional promise. There must be an unconditional promise. You hear what I'm telling you? It must be an unconditional promise, meaning that under no conditions, I promise to pay you. Okay? But that right there is a security. That is a value to the bank. Because if they can go based off, because your unconditional promise is enough for them to be able to make money on it and pretty much exchange it with the Federal Reserve. It also must be a written order to pay. Not only does it have to be a conditional promise, but it has to be written. And it's also an order. It must be signed by the issuer, so it must be signed by you. And it must be payable on demand or at a definite time. So if you put X amount of, I promise to pay X amount of dollars to this person by this time. That right there, you just created an unconditional promise. If you write it down, you just created an order to pay. You sign it and you put the time. So whether it's payable on demand or at a definite time. If it meets that criteria, then that can constitute as a negotiable instrument. Okay? So if we talk about coupons, they already meet these conditions and they are pre-structured as a negotiable instrument. The bank or the utility treats your remittance slip as a way to balance the books, not as proof that you owe them money. So when you look at that remittance, on the remittance, okay, number one, it looks like a check. Okay, it has these account numbers on it, as you know, tells you to tear it off, these numbers. But here's the thing. They may put amount due date, billing date, meter number, all this stuff really doesn't matter except maybe the account number, season designation number, these numbers down here. But none of these numbers, none of these terms really matter, or you can assume what these terms mean. Unless they directly express exactly what these mean. Just like you have to be clear and conspicuous about what it is that you are giving, they have to be clear and conspicuous about what it is that they are giving. So they should include a legend, right? Saying, okay, bet this is what billing date means, this is what due date means, this is what amount due means, this is what this number means, blah, blah, blah. But here's the key thing, and this is what I've learned very early in my consumer law journey, is that if there is no negative number here, they technically is nothing to be owed, okay? So when you think of the aspect of them using this to balance their books, when they get this is how they balance the accounting. Because remember, when they do the inception of your contract, they never really release money to you. All they're doing is typing in numbers, okay? They're just typing in numbers, so they never really exchange any value with you. So technically, this remittance slip is supposed to pay the account, or not pay the account, but highlight that surplus, that interest, that certificate of indebtedness, and it should credit the account, and it should be a free-flowing thing because it is already pre-funded, especially when we're talking about utility companies. They're already pre-funded or with bonds, municipal bonds. They pretty much, everything that they are giving you is already paid for by the government or by your SSN in your estate. So if anything, you really should be only paying for the infrastructure, but the infrastructure may also be paid by the bond as well, okay? So technically, it's nothing that you owe them because they never really give you anything to owe. You are pretty much being credited something that you've already credited them. It afforded them the ability to be able to get those government bonds, to be able to put the infrastructure in the ground, or be able to extract the natural energy, okay? But don't get too high on your high horse about trying to figure that out. Just understand that this is a negotiable instrument too. It's already set up like one, and it doesn't really say that there is a promise to pay, but it does balance the account. And that's typically what discharging debt is, or paying your debts, or using the dollar, is you balancing the books. And balancing the books is pretty much putting it on record that there is a debt that was incurred. Okay? Now, Why do banks accept coupons? And I really wanted to do a deep dive on why they accept coupons, because a lot of people don't believe that they do. Okay? A coupon, which is that little remittance slip attached to your bill, okay, already has qualities of a negotiable instrument under UCC 3-104. Why? Because it's an unconditional promise or order to pay a fixed amount of money, payable to the bearer, or payable on demand or at a definite time. So it meets the criteria of a negotiable instrument. It's a written order tied to a definite amount. It has identifying info such as account number, issuer, amount due. And when you sign or endorse it, it becomes an instrument of settlement. Okay? For full faith and satisfaction, you are using that to settle whatever the account is or whatever the debt is. And that's when we dive into UCC 3-311, which is accord and satisfaction. If you put that something is for full satisfaction, they must honor it. And if they don't honor it, they have to prove that they didn't receive it properly. But unlike a check, which pulls from your funds, a coupon can push the obligation back to the issuer, making them settle it through their own accounting entries. If you're going to do the accounting, then okay, bet. Let me go ahead and send you the data that will help you with your accounting. So think about it like this. When the bank or the utility prints and sends you a coupon, they've already acknowledged the liability on their books. By endorsing and returning it, you are essentially saying, set this off against the credit you created with my signature in the first place. Okay? Because remember, you're the one that pretty much funded them because you are the creditor. And again, if I have to go to the Truth in Lending Act, okay, 15 USC 1601, and I go to definitions and rules of constructions, it says credit means the right granted by a creditor to a debtor to defer payment of debt, to incur debt and defers payment. The term creditor refers to a person who both regularly extends, whether in connection with loans, sales, or property, otherwise consumer credit, which is payable by agreement in more than 4 installments, which is payment of a finance charge, blah, 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 blah. But the key thing is, it says the definition of a creditor, it refers to only a person, okay? The definitions in the Truth in Lending Act, a person means a natural person or an organization. And then an organization means a corporation, government, cooperative, association, partnership, trust, estate. Now, many may ask, okay, what does this mean, natural person or an organization? We know what a natural person is. That's someone who is living and breathing, right? But what is the organization version of me? Your straw man. But the key term is or, because what makes you a person is the fact that you can be either or. Now, I want you to think about Bank of America. Think about the banks. Can they be a natural person? No, it's impossible for them to be a natural person. They're literally just a piece of paper, a corporation. So only a person can pretty much extend credit. So that right there is proof enough that we extend credit anytime we are in a consumer credit transaction, which is anybody that sends you a payment coupon, it's a consumer credit transaction. And what they are basically saying is, hey, look, we owe you $168 so that you can pay your account. Or this is the amount that was given to us to basically, you know what I mean, like acquire the energy or use the infrastructure, whatever the case may be. Okay, so you will send it back so that you can set it off. Hey, look, thank you. Boom, I got it. I'm gonna sign it so that you can monetize it. Remember, your signature is what creates the obligation. Now, banks refer to the system because it keeps everything internal. No cash, just ledger adjustments. So now it's no real paper that they gotta keep managing. You think that they just have the dollars just stacked up in a safe somewhere? I mean, I'm sure they do got a safe like that, but not all their money is stacked into the safe, okay? But this is why massive corporations and government run primarily on credit entries and not payments, okay? And in other words, a check depletes your account, but a coupon can discharge the account without requiring cash at all. Now, I want to just talk about the aspect of payment. When you look at payment, the definition of payment, because they'll argue that you need to pay, but payment means performance of a duty. Your performance could be you signing and sending it back. Your promise, if you promise to pay, that's also considered payment. Performance of a obligation or discharge of a debt or liability. Okay, so discharging debt is payment as well. So they can't say you can't discharge debt. But even furthermore, they say, well, you can't discharge this debt. Payment also means the delivery of money or other value. And you can argue that you're giving them other value. I hope you guys are really getting that. Please tell me y'all are getting that. Because the questions that I will get is just like, almost as if like, you know, and not some of the people that I've personally spoken to, but when we are challenging debt, whether we're attempting to discharge, do private banking or whatever the case may be, it's so important for you to understand these things because lawyers play semantics with you. All right? They'll make you think that what you're saying is wrong, but when you know exactly what it is that you're talking about, you will always have a rebuttal. This is why knowing the law is more important than knowing the steps, because I can take you through the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can take you through the entire steps, but if you know how to fight it, you can't just be sending letters hoping for the result. And then when you get into court and you need to explain why you did what you did and you can't explain it, this is where people fall in the problem. Or when they say, well, you can't do that. You have no rebuttal. And if you have no rebuttal, then whatever you don't rebut stands in truth and law. Please gather that, please. And if you've gotten this far, I love you. All right. So we understand the illusion of a check is literally just you swiping your debit card. Okay. But it's still a promise. All right. And coupon represents a claim on credit, not really cash. All right. And when you endorse it correctly, it can be treated as a payment, set off, or discharge, depending on how it's tendered. And a check draws from your account, but a coupon can leverage the issue's own accounting system. So you're actually working with the bank when you actually submit your coupon properly and endorse it. But this is why coupons tie back to the idea of set off and discharge, and why it's important for you to, even though you can send this, you have to be able to truly know, not believe. You have to know that you can discharge the debt. Okay? See, when you have a belief, there's a doubt in your mind. But when you know, there is no doubt. Please, y'all need to get that. You know what I mean? Now, they don't teach you this game because most people only ever act as the debtor, writing checks, swiping cards, draining accounts, and this is why people get messed up. But the coupon system reveals the creditor side of the game. You are meant to return the instrument to close the loop, not paying cash, because you can't really pay debt with debt. Okay? They can argue it down, and yes, this doesn't mean that, oh, well, you can't, like, I mean, it's a matrix. You know what I mean? Yes. Sometimes you'll have to do it. It's okay. But I tell you this so that you have different strategies and different ways to look at things and have other options. All right? That's all. All right? We can make this about a big revolution and, oh, everybody should do this and trust and believe. I would love everybody to do this, and I would love it to be more widely recognized and people to, you know what I mean, it just be more common that people are able to do this, or it's much easier. You don't got to fight. But it's just so deeply engraved in the system that it's just nothing you can do but fight and kind of just play to what the system is until it changes. It's not fair. It isn't right. It is what it is. And once you're in charge, you can change things. Don't try to be in charge of the government. Try to be in charge of your own life and just govern yourself properly. All right. Now, here's a practical example, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. A $500 utility bill. Think of that. The check says, I already have $500. Please move it. That's what a check is. Okay. If you have $500 in your bank account, you can pretty much write a check for $500. And that's all a check is saying. Boom, I have the $500, go ahead. But the coupon says, here's a negotiable instrument. Settle this account through accounting entries. All right. Banks and corporations prefer accounting entries because it keeps everything inside the system of credit. They do prefer it because that's what works, but they also prefer you to pay because they'll just forge your signature anyways. All right. But now I'm going to write the signature. I'm going to actually take control. I'm going to move as the creditor now. And you are actually the debtor. All right. But again, don't do any of this stuff if you're just going to look at it on the surface level. If you're going to do it emotionally, if you're not actually going to go and try to learn it and use it as a negotiation tactic, then don't do it. Because I'm not saying, because it's not going to be easy for you to just submit the coupon and your debt is just going to be wiped away and discharged. If you're going to send a coupon, again, go to 328 31 CFR 328.5. You go to 31 CFR 328.5 and 31 CFR 328.6. It literally breaks down step by step how to endorse the coupon, the bill. Okay? Some people say, oh, what do I put on the coupon? Nothing. You don't have to put nothing on the coupon. Okay? The instructions is right here. And it says nothing about putting it on the coupon. The whole paper is a security. Okay? So read this. We're not going to go over this today. I mean, if you can't go read that, then hey, I don't even think you should even do no coupon remittance. I don't care. Because people will tell you, oh, do this and do that and do this. But then they'll tell you, just endorse it or just enforce it. But they don't tell you how to enforce it. So it's like, why would I sit here, show you guys how to do it, knowing that millions of y'all, not even millions, maybe thousands of y'all, are going to watch this video and do it. And then when it doesn't work because you didn't do it properly, you didn't properly put them on notice, you don't know how to enforce it because you won't read the law, you don't understand the UCC, you don't understand the USC, you don't understand your rights, and you go and you do this and think that just because someone tells you how to put it together that it'll work. But what if they ignore you? What if they say that you can't do it and you know you did it right? How would you fight it? And this is everything that I talk about in my school community, okay? Anytime you see a coupon or something like that, understand that it can be used as a negotiable instrument. You can send it back, but you have to understand the administrative process, how to communicate with debt collectors, how to be able to negotiate with debt collectors, how to move like a business owner, okay? How to be able to take charge of your life and stop asking for permission, how to move as the creditor and be able to prove that you are the creditor, how to shift the burden of proof onto them. And all of this is broken down in my school community, and you can get in there for 7 days free. And then after the 7 days, it's $27 a month until we reach 1,000 people. We already at 900 people. So I would take advantage of it now and get grandfathered in so you can have the $27 for a lifetime. But here's the thing. Even if you don't do that, still do your due diligence. If you feel like you need that extra help, tap in with the school community. If you want to work with me one-on-one, the link will be down in the description as well. Only for people who want a premium coaching experience. So yes, it does take an investment, a way bigger investment than $27 a month. So if you're not ready to make an investment into your life and change your circumstance and change your life by using concepts like building your credit, getting funding, and starting a business, tap in with the school. Okay, start small and then work your way up. All right, but other than that, if you gotten this far, thank you guys for watching this video. Remember to like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications because we do post Monday through Friday. Happy Friday to you. If you gotten this far, comment the word coupon and I'll see you in the next one. This video is sponsored by the Fund Yourself Academy. My step-by-step system designed to help you fix your credit, get funding, and build real financial freedom from scratch. If you're tired of feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck, this is where it changes. Inside the Academy, I break down everything from consumer law secrets that they don't teach in school to how to remove negative items and boost your score, get access to business funding, and start building multiple income streams online. Whether you're just starting out or ready to level up your game and get the bag, this is your playbook. We've got tools, templates, dispute letters, mentorship calls, private community access, and an exact roadmap I use to leave my 9-to-5 and create time freedom. But only for a limited time, you can get access to the Fund Yourself Academy on a free trial basis for the next 7 days. And then after that, you pay less than $1 a day at $27 a month if you like it. No fluff, just facts and just freedom. Go to the fundyourselfacademy.com or hit the link in the description to join now, because nobody's coming to save you, but you can fund yourself.